Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right, so I've got an unboxing for you. It's a rather large box, I might add. It is my latest Filmarena pickup that I got for Terminator Genisys. And check out the size of this release. It's ridiculous, there's no question about it, especially when you see the contents inside it. There's just far too much empty space. Now this is a one-click edition, it's a Maniacs release, and I'm presuming this is one of Filmarena's first editions. Thankfully they really have scaled them down, they're considerably smaller, especially when you do compare it to this release. So I'm going to be taking you around it very soon, but the contents inside it are quite nice. And the artwork is actually beautiful on it as well, of course it goes without saying. Now, people will be wondering out there, why the hell did I buy an edition like this for a movie like Terminator Genisys? Well, the simple answer to it is, folks, I enjoyed the movie. I love the Terminator franchise. I enjoyed every movie. Don't get me wrong, none of them come remotely close to the first two Terminator movies, the James Cameron ones. But I always got an element of popcorn fun from every one of the sequels, particularly Terminator Salvation. I wish they continued that storyline. I think there was enough there to build a trilogy. I think they were going to do a trilogy, and it would have been nice to see that future war. But apparently after Salvation got released, I think the studio went bankrupt, and I think the franchise was put up for auction. And I think it was Skydance Studios that ended up purchasing it. And I just assumed they were going to continue that Salvation storyline. But unfortunately, it didn't make enough money. So they went back to the same old formula that we've seen in the previous the first three Terminator movies. And it was only a matter of time before it started to get a little bit repetitive. Now, they tried something a little bit different with this movie. You know, they did that whole resetting the timeline sort of thing. You see it a lot nowadays. It's kind of getting very boring at this point. But they tried something different, and I have to give them credit for that. But the action sequences that you do see in this movie are so unbelievably over the top, but they are incredibly fun to watch. Some of the CGI that you see in it as well looks absolutely beautiful. It really does. Very convincing. And the biggest issue I had with the movie, me personally, is the casting. Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor, it was never going to work. And I think I read up that Brie Larson was in contention as well for it. So I think we were going to be screwed either way, because I don't think she would have suited the role either. Now, I presume what happened here was Game of Thrones, I'm presuming, was huge at the time when this movie came out. And they obviously thought, okay, if we get Emilia Clarke in, she's massive on the show. She will bring in the fans of Game of Thrones. But it just did not work. And Jai Courtney, is that his name? Jai Courtney, I think it is. I just find he's just terrible in everything that I've seen him in. I can't think of one good performance from him. And I have seen a few movies by him. The one shining light in this movie for me is actually Jason Clarke as John Connor. He's highly underrated, I think. You know, when you actually see Jason Clarke in the likes of Zero Dark 30 or Everest, you know, he is a talent. There's no question about it. And I honestly think he did a great job as John Connor, and I actually enjoyed what they'd done with John Connor's character in this movie, turning him into the villain of the movie. I thought it was quite brilliant. But yes, it was just a bit too much going on. The storyline was a bit all over the place. But like I said, I was able to enjoy a lot of the action set pieces in this movie. And it's actually just a beautiful movie to look at. You know, if you have the 4K release of it, it really is a stunner. The Dolby Atmos is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best Atmos tracks you will ever hear on the format. And yes, like I said, I just get a good bit of popcorn fun from it. So I'm not going to waste any time, folks. I'm going to take us around this set because there's a bit to show. And brace yourself for this one. I think you're going to have a good laugh, especially when I remove the lid off this release. So yeah, let's get to it. Right, so I'm doing something a little bit different here. I've actually changed rooms because this box is so big and I actually want to get it in frame. So yeah, hopefully the sound is not going to be too bad. I think it might be a bit on the echoey side, but a huge apology for that. I just needed to get this in frame properly and have a bit of room to maneuver this box set. So hopefully everything will be okay. But the one great advantage when it comes to a box set this size is you get to admire this incredible artwork. And the first thing you will notice is all the spot glossing that you can see on this. There's quite a bit there on the gun. Even the blast there is showing a load of spot glossing. Of course, the writing down the bottom, loads of spot glossing. And then of course his face. Now I'm not quite sure how well this is going to come across on the camera, but when I put it up close, you will notice that there is a bit of spot glossing going on with the chunks of flesh that's gone off in there. Even his eye has this beautiful bit of spot glossing. So yes. Very, very impressed with the artwork, even though the box itself is really oversized. So I'm going to just quick show you the bottom, and as you can see there, you get your unique number, 351 of 500. There we go. And right around to the side, you've got Terminator Genisys. No spot glossing on that for some strange reason. And then right around to the opposite side is the exact same. And right in the top, you will have your Filmarena Collector's Box number 1. And then that lastly brings us on to this amazing artwork on the back. And check this out. So this is the T3000, I think I remember correctly. And yeah, it's John Connor. And the artwork is absolutely sublime on this. Now, the only one downside is there's no spot glossing going on like the main art box. Or the main artwork. And I think it would have worked very well if they maybe done, you know, maybe on this side, kind of give us a bit of spot glossing just on the kind of skeleton side of John Connor. I think it would have looked absolutely breathtaking. But again, taking nothing away from it, it still looks rather amazing. So I'm going to flip this back around. I am going to open up the box and show you exactly what we are dealing with here. So here we go. This is the contents inside this edition, and look, it goes without saying that the box is absolute overkill. Look at the amount of empty space that's inside this set. It is presented quite beautifully, but look, that just doesn't need to be that big. But they are nestled in there quite beautifully. There's two versions. I can't quite remember. I don't know if this is a 3D version, this is a Blu-ray, or maybe both of them are 3D. I can't quite remember. And then of course you got that little collectible coin inside it. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out both editions and give you a close look at them. So yeah, let's get to it. Right, so here we go. This is the first edition. So before I do anything, I'm going to quickly bring in, well, I was going to say a J card, but as you can see, there is no information on this. It feels actually a bit like a postcard, but of course you get your matching number that pairs up beautifully with the box itself. So I'll put that to a side and let's get on with the release. And here we go. And as you can see, there is quite a bit going on here in terms of this artwork and some of the texturing that you're seeing on it. There is a nice bit of spot glossing there as well. You can actually see it on the red eye. But the way that the texture looks in this, and when you bend that light against it, it really does look amazing. And you can actually see quite a bit of it even over here, which is quite nice. And of course, it goes without saying, but Terminator Genisys down the bottom has a bit of spot glossing going on there as well. So I have nothing but praise when it comes to the artwork on this first edition. So right, I'm hoping that the lighting is okay in here and you can get a good idea of that, but it really is amazing. And onto the spine we go. And then right around to the back, and it's a bit more of what we've seen there on the front in terms of the texture. But I don't know how well this is coming across in the camera, but if I take it in closely there, you will actually notice that his face is made up of like gun parts and ammunition. Like you can actually see like a machine gun up in the top right corner there. And of course you got a few pistols there right in the arch of his nose. So there is it's very creative, there's no question about it. And again, just like the main cover, you do have that lovely bit of texturing going through this entire back artwork. And of course, the red eye again really does pop. So that is the main artwork anyway. I'll take us to the top. It does say reset the future. And then right to the bottom, that is your matching number. So right, this is the contents that we are going to be dealing with this edition. So I will open it up, and the first thing you're going to see inside this set is you get this kind of 3D embossed postcard. I think you can see it there now what I mean when it comes to the embossed on it. It looks pretty cool. So on the top of there it has "He's Back," and the other edition has something similar when it comes to this 3D embossed. I just think it's a different picture, of course. And that's the back of it there. So put that to a side. Then we are going to bring in the booklet. And I love the artwork on this. As you can see, it's a bit of that future war. It's a shame we didn't get to see more of that. Salvation was setting it up, but yeah, unfortunately they didn't continue it. And that is the scene that they tried to recreate from the first Terminator movie. They actually done a good job, the opening sequence of that movie. So, right, I'm going to go through it here. It is simply a stills book. I don't think there's a write-up at all inside this. No, there's not. So, yeah, just a simple little stills book. And that brings us on to, there's a few little character cards that you get here as well. I'm just going to quickly go through them. So, you have the T800 there. Of course, you got John Connor, T3000. Another one of the T800, Sarah Connor, and Kyle Reese. So yeah, just a couple there. And that is the backing of it. So right, that is everything. And that brings us lastly on to the steelbook. And hopefully this lenticular does come across on my camera. But when you do move it, there is quite a bit going on there. It does look absolutely beautiful. I love lenticulars when there's a bit of movement with them. Don't get me wrong, now I do like the ones that kind of add a bit of depth as well, but this I just find these a bit more kind of a bit more eye candy. So right, I'm going to remove the lenticular off this, and let's get on to the steelbook itself. Now I'm not sure if this was an exclusive steelbook. I didn't actually look into it. But it does look quite beautiful. Now it is a high gloss finish to it. It is one of those steelbooks that when you do bend the light on it, like look at his eye, look at the red eye. When the light kind of bends up against it, it just shines up and it looks stunning, as well as some of the pieces of his face there are missing as well. When you bend that light against it, it just comes across beautifully. And of course his shotgun there as well. So right, that is the main artwork anyway for the steelbook. I'll take us to the spine of it. Apologies if that's not coming into focus, folks. I'm so sorry about that. I'm just trying to get used to this kind of new setup that I have here. And this is the back anyway, and of course you've got Sarah Connor there and her holding the head of a Terminator. And when you do bend that light again, you'll notice that the Terminator's head does kind of light up quite a bit. You can see it there. So yeah, I'm impressed with the steelbook. I like it a lot. So this is the steelbook in full. Right, so turn it around, and this is your discs. So you've got your bonus disc there on the left hand side. You got your 3D Blu-ray, and you've also got your Blu-ray disc in there. So there you have it, folks. That is the first edition inside this set. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Right, so here we go. This is the second edition. So of course I'm going to bring in that card again. And as you can see, again, matching up perfectly to the other edition and the main box set. As a matter of fact, I will bring in both cards there just so you can see them. So yeah, 351 of 500. So right, let's get on with this release. Now before I actually do anything, I actually just wanted to bring in the other one there that I showed previously, just to show you how nicely both of them go together. I'm so happy that they kind of stuck to the black backgrounds, just put the endo skull on each release. So yes, they go quite well together, even when you see the spines in them. Yeah, go perfectly together. So right, anyway, back onto this release we go. Now, this one doesn't have quite the same kind of texturing that you've seen on the previous release, but there is still quite a bit going on there, and there is a nice bit of spot glossing. Now, you can actually see a lovely bit of spot glossing just on, again, I don't know how well it will come across on my camera, but that little bit of the red that you do see in the eye does have a nice bit of spot glossing to it. It's amazing, just the amount of detail just gone into this release, and it's massively appreciated as well. And of course, it goes without saying, but the writing down the bottom does have a nice bit of spot gloss in there as well. And then right to the top, it simply says he's back. And then to the bottom there, you've got your matching number. And then we go to the spine of it, and it was identical to the last one there. And then right around to the back, and yes, it's much similar in terms of texturing that you've seen on the artwork of this one. It is not too heavy, but again, that red eye really does pop, and it's because of that spot glossing that you do see on it. So I think if I had to pick my favorite edition of the two, it probably would be the other one. But when you see the lenticular on the steelbook, it does look quite amazing. So right, that is the artwork anyway. This is the contents, and I'm going to open it up and have a look. So let's see what we have. So we have a couple of, I'm going to start with these character cards again. I'm not prepared this time. I forgot to take them out of plastic. But here we go. So you got Sarah Connor there. You got Kyle Reese again. You got John Connor there, the T3000, or T300, sorry. And you got the Terminator there, the T800. And of course you have the T1000. So there we go, that's a few of the small little character cards that you get. So the next thing we have here is a couple of postcards, which I have to quickly take out. So if you can bear with me. So the first thing you will notice here is this 3D embossed postcard that was similar to the one that was in the other one. But it's nice to see a different bit of artwork on this. And as you can see, it does look pretty cool. So right, put that to a side. And then I think you just got simply poster artwork for the movie itself. I actually thought both of them were the same, but they're actually quite different. And of course, this one here doesn't have the title on it. And of course, you got there one of the Sarah and Arnold. I do love this postcard here. I think it looks breathtaking. Actually, I wouldn't mind actually getting a poster of that. I think it looks pretty cool. So there we go. That is just simply 4 postcards. Nothing really on the backs of them there. And all that's left to do is actually show the steelbook. Now, I don't have to go through the steelbook because the steelbook is the exact same as the last edition. But the lenticular is quite different. And as you can see, when you bend it, this flesh just burns off Schwarzenegger's face. It's a pretty cool effect. And it's probably one of the best lenticulars I have ever seen. And I actually own quite a few. But this one just works so incredibly well. I actually shot this this unboxing in my other room. And I have to tell you, this didn't come across near as good as it does here right now. So there we go, folks. That is just a quick look at that lenticular. I'll move it there quickly so you can get a good idea of what is going on there. So right, I'll have to put it down. I'll keep playing with it. So that is the steelbook. That is everything inside this second edition. And all that's left to show now is the collector's coin. Right, so here we go. This is just a simple little jewelry case. There's nothing to actually look at at all. But when you do open it up, you will see that coin. So I will take it out and give you a close look at it, if I can, that is. Now, there is a nice bit of weight to it, I have to admit. But when you take it up close there, you will see the endo skull there, which looks pretty cool. I can't quite make out what the writing says, but if you do want to pause it and check it out yourselves, by all means do so. And then when you turn it around to the opposite side, you have got the Terminator Genisys written on the other side. So there you go, folks. That is the little collector's coin that you get inside this set. And that is everything that comes with this release. I know, like I said, the box is a little bit of an overkill, but it is presented quite beautifully, and the additions that are sitting inside it are absolutely beautiful. And I have to admit, I am so happy now that I picked it up in the end. So there you go, folks. That is my Terminator Genisys release. Right, so as you've seen there on the unboxing of this, I'd done it in a different room because, like I said, it was such a big edition. I needed a bit of space to be able to maneuver it. But I'm just wondering if you could help me out a bit here. My biggest concern was because it's actually in my kitchen where I actually done that unboxing. And my biggest concern was, you know, is the audio coming across as a bit too kind of echoey. So if you found it just kind of a bit distracting to listen to, could you please just let me know in the comment section. You know, I'll know from now on not to do it that way. But from what I've seen, I think the lighting might look a bit better in that other room. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, the audio is okay on it as well. So again, if you could let me know, it will really, really help me out. So there you have it, folks. So that is my video, that is my unboxing, and as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you could do, leave a comment down below, and please do share your thoughts on this release, and what did you think of the movie as well. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.